Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Hospitality. In this episode, we are covering all things hotels, short-term rentals, and the ever-changing landscape that the two have intertwined. So, without further ado, let's begin. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy MLK Day.
Yes. You guys, there's some children stuck at home in the background for half the squad.
Yep. If doors open up and loud noises start to begin, I apologize.
My kids just left, so I am safe now.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually have today off, so I'm technically working for you guys right now. But you know,
No.
I'm just joking.
I think we're working for you, Will.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
You never
You guys
give
are
us
already
a
working.
as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm a horrible boss. But how's everybody's weekend? Brandy, it seems like you had a packed weekend from what I saw on Instagram.
yeah. And I mean, a packed week. I have to give a shout out to the Moving Mountains team. I stole a mug from one of the most incredible houses that I've stayed in. I got permission to steal it, so it's not really stealing. But we had a great week in Colorado, and then that just segued into like friends in town for baby showers and like all sorts of social engagements. So yeah, the social battery is a little tapped.
I feel you. Well, shout out to Robin Craig and Moving Mountains. I know they just got onto their yacht for their journey around the world, basically. So
yeah, Robin is chilling in retirement. I love this. Like a global yacht trip sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, Robin, whenever we're, wanting to do a story overseas, just let us know and we'll love to come out. We'll love to come out, broadcast live. Maybe another interview. I don't know. We'll see. But how about you, Jamie? What did you guys have this weekend?
Got some good house projects done, and we had some friends over for dinner, family over for dinner. So it was good hang this weekend.
House projects at the primary house or the vacation home? What are we doing?
Primary house. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a list now that has to get done before we're allowed to buy another short-term rental. So I am
honeydew list
off. Yeah.
Honeydew.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even married and I know about that. All thanks to my mom and dad. Thanks, mom and dad. Shout out. That's fun. How long is the list? Like doable? Not doable? Like a year, 2 years?
It depends on how much help I hire. It's definitely at the point of like, all right, how much can I hire this out to get it actually done? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
how about you, Goldin?
I'm happy that Jamie and I are in the same era of life because I know it's tough to relate to Will and Brandy. We had first grade basketball, followed by a birthday party, followed by honeydew list. We are painting every room inside of our house and doing like two per weekend. Yeah, so it's chipping away at it.
So we're going to see a new color behind you soon?
Oh no, my office is off limits. This is
it's a safe zone for you.
Yeah. It gets as messy as I want it to be, and the color. One day, Kristen came home and was like, "What did you do?" Like, well, I painted it dark. So
it's a good time. It's a good time.
Manly color.
Yeah, I love it. Well. Fun episode today as we have kind of a reverse switch happening where Airbnb is making some hotel moves and we have Hilton making some somewhat short-term rental moves. But before we get into that, did you guys get to listen to the episode last week with Roman from Kasa? Did you guys see the breaking news?
I did.
Big news.
All right.
And really, we're down to two companies in the urban STR landscape. Both of them had pretty major headlines this week. So Mint House getting acquired / merging a non-cash deal, all equity deal is, to me, it signals one of two things. They were either not doing great or Kasa has some sort of exit ramp here in the next couple of years, because you don't typically do an all equities deal unless there's IPO plans, or you just that's the only deal you can do. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys think is the case.
Right now, it's from when talking to Sean and then talking to Roman, they have about like 150 million a year in gross booking revenue. So I don't know, not a bad chunk of change, if I do say so myself. But I don't know. I feel like public just doesn't seem.
Yeah, I don't think that seems likely.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, I have no inside information here. And what the quote that I liked from Roman, that this was sort of EBITDA accretive on day one. So sounds like Mint House was profitable. It's not like they were in a sort of crunch that they had to sell, and that this ultimately is going to be good for everyone involved. You sort of scale, and they've already got a profitable business model, and sort of spread that scale over more, and it's going to be helpful for Kasa to continue to evolve as a major player in the sort of branded space. And it wouldn't be surprising, I think, in a year or two to see that they've been acquired by someone much bigger as an apartment brand, similar to what we saw with Placemaker.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, there's also Central out there too, which I know they've been pretty quiet after kind of a big splash into the kind of co-living STR urban space. But who knows, maybe there is a bigger real estate play that adds a short-term rental urban operator sector to their bigger business. I also do remember when talking to Christian Lee, though, when they acquired LoCal around this time last year. LoCal was a significantly smaller player, but off the record, he was kind of hinting at potentially looking at more other small micro scoops. So I'm guessing it.
I mean, there was some interest in the Romy sale from them, but it didn't work out.
Can you tell us more about that?
No.
Yeah, I think, Jamie, you're probably spot on, especially with the news about Placemaker and Hilton, that deal coming together. I don't know if Marriott's eager to jump back in it after the Sonder meltdown, but you've still got
too soon.
You've still got IHG. You've still got a core too. So I wouldn't be surprised if IHG or Hyatt come around and make a deal with Kasa now. Or maybe it's part of Hilton, and Hilton's going to kind of own this urban multifamily hotel space.
I was just going to say, to Paul Manzi's comment, so much for staying in each other's lanes. As kind of segueing into the next one, it would be interesting to see Kasa get folded into the Hilton's 26th brand, as the apartment collection launched late last week. I would say, I think Thursday. And big news in terms of, we've been waiting for this one for a while. And my kind of questions to Sean and to the rest of the editorial team was, do you think they delayed this due to the Marriott Sonder blow up, or do you think this was just kind of the timing it landed on? Because I could see that they probably had it sooner, but who knows?
Yeah, listen, PR can get delayed for all kinds of reasons, but I think that the hotel flags are kind of waking up. Like, instead of building ground up apartment built, still kind of like crappier versions of an apartment. Like, I was just staying in like a suites that had a kitchen, but it's not a full, it doesn't feel like it. Like, might as well just go after something that's already established with real apartments that have the real size that people want to stay in for that kind of product.
I'll say, and one, congratulations to the Placemaker team. I interviewed Jason. He was one of the first person I interviewed on my podcast back 3 years ago. And what I loved with Jason, and one, is an extremely competent operator, CEO. And just the juxtaposition of them and Sonder, of during the pandemic, and urban demand collapsed, right? And what did Sonder do? They hit the accelerator and grew unprofitably, and we saw what happened there. What did Placemaker do? They cut almost everything out. Like, their units under inventory, like, I think you said they went down at one point, they just had 250 listings. And then sort of profitably grew back building by building, deal by deal in a way that made sense for them and wasn't on sort of the VC time schedule of like, we've got to grow at all costs. It's like, we're going to do this profitably. We're going to do this right. It's going to take longer, but ultimately, like, I think they've built an extremely great brand and like a great business that they've done it the right way. And to sort of conflate Sonder and Placemaker, and they're just two entirely different companies, entirely different strategies in a similar sort of competition environment.
What was Placemaker before they rebranded? I can't remember. It was something. It wasn't always Placemaker.
Wasn't it you something?
Something
I want to say you rent, but I don't think that's correct.
No.
Something we should have researched before the show, but
not you rent.
I remember it was
not you rent. Oh my God.
There was a different name.
Yeah. I thought I started with a K. Wasn't it like once a no, I gotta look into it more. But yeah, I definitely know that it was a different name. So I'm curious to see, because Jason wasn't the founder, right? He's the new CEO.
No, he founded it. He actually founded it as it was like a skunk works project as part of Vornado, which was a huge multifamily real estate company, ownership company. And he built it in there, and then they spun it out of Vornado.
Gotcha.
It was called Y Hotel before.
Yes, Y Hotels. Yes, and then Eric comes into it with the comment.
Nice, Eric. Yeah, a couple of comments.
Brain's
here.
Not working this morning.
Yeah. It's Monday. It's Monday.
One of my predictions from 2025 was more licensing deals. I'm going to go ahead and call that one as a W, because this certainly would have come out in November, December had Sonder not blown up. I'm just going to, I'll mark that.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. It is still, the deal is obviously well on its way by December 31st. So I think we can.
Yeah, we'll that's right. And then I just looked up how many Marriott Apartments properties they're at. Do you guys know? 3. So that brand is not off to the races, if you will.
Well, because they're building them, right? It's all purpose built like that. So it's
they built it off of, they built that brand off of Sonder too. Like that was their big push. That was their toe in the water, I think.
Yeah.
That was because they did that licensing deal 20 years, and then they launched Apartments by Marriott. So it was like, okay, they used Sonder as like the entry.
Yeah, you got 10,000 listings in one swoop. In theory.
100%.
Yeah, but the difference with Marriott Apartments, those appear to be truly flagged, not licensed. So those are flagged owned deals. Awesome. Well, I'm fascinated to see how this licensing deal plays out. It sounds like Placemaker's on much more firm ground, but nobody knows because their financials aren't public, unlike Sonder's. So I wish them the best. I'm excited that Hilton, it's not just Marriott getting into the game of alternative accommodations, whether it's apartments or the outdoors. I'm excited to see Hilton be a part of it.
Yeah, and before we go on to the next topic, so we just want to give a couple shout outs. We have Enrique out in Peru. We got Brandy, the other Brandy from Pennsylvania. We got Eric tuning in, and of course our one and onlys, Terry White, who also is giving Michael that prediction point. So
thanks,
unfortunately
Terry.
for the rest of us, and of course Paul Manzi keeping score. So
Paul, whose side are you on? Don't start with this right now.
That GMH loyalty card is slowly getting delayed. In the mail.
And Paul, it's certified coming your way.
Well, super fun. And to move on to the next topic, we did have an article come out by Rafit, who is the CEO and founder of Skift. So my boss, please don't fire me. I'm loving it here. He came out with an article that did, I would say, ruffle a couple feathers leading into the weekend. I got a couple text messages. I was at a happy hour networking event put on by Stay in Touch and a couple other hotel tech companies. Duetto was one of them. And let's just say it was definitely a topic of conversation when I got to that happy hour. So Rafa put out an article saying the thrill is gone, Airbnb and the crisis of imagination in the short-term rental sector. So Brandy, I know you had a ton of comments.
I was
Maybe we get a
I
little
was one of
Brandy
the
rant.
ruffled feathers, and I will own that it was the most ruffled I was just first reading the headline, which I mean I should know intellectually is like not how I should respond, but I think as one of these, like I'm like, you know, one of the kind of like VC funded targets of this part of this article, I was like, we weren't entertaining enough for you? I can tell you it wasn't boring being on the inside of all of that and all the money we raised and the people we employed and the things that we tried to do to be innovative and, you know, built successful businesses, and not all businesses last a long time. So that was my first kind of like very, especially because I mean,
Brandy
very,
rant.
yeah, I mean, I spent a decade of my life doing that. It was it was a part of who I am. And of course I felt like defensive about it. And then obviously after like continuing through the article, I think one thing we're going to get into like all the different juicy parts of it, but one thing that came up was, you know, like the magic of Airbnb going away when, you know, there's like this romanticism about it. And it's like, yeah, because it was built off of the idea of the sharing economy. And like, you're not going to become a publicly traded company off of the sharing economy. That's not, you need to grow and build your inventory. And that kind of need pushed so much of our industry in different directions. And then also just to give the traditional VR industry like a shout out, like they have been providing, you know, the short-term rental industry has been providing great hospitality and great stays for decades. And it's not super sexy and it's not super flashy, but there are businesses that are profitable that have been around much longer than Airbnb. So like, does it need to be sexy? Does it need to be thrilling if the objective is to provide a good stay and a memorable vacation?
Yeah. I put some thoughts on LinkedIn on sort of, wouldn't say criticism, but sort of thoughts on my response, and I'll sort of summarize those. But so I took it as sort of three criticisms Rafat was giving. Mm-hmm. One was on Airbnb's AI strategy and sort of equating it to the hire of Ahmad, which, and we'll maybe discuss whether that's a fair criticism given the other 2 points. The second was sort of the business model of STRs and sort of the evolution, and what happened with Sonder, what happened with Kasa, and we're seeing all this innovation trying to happen. And there's actual like real innovation happening with Guesty, the PMSs, the pricing tools, the operation tools. Like there's billions of dollars being generated, and sort of cherry picking 2 companies that sort of went under as sort of the and innovation isn't happening in this industry, I think is a little it pissed me off a little bit. And then
I'm not alone.
I will say he was correcting the controlled layer, which is the inventory. He wasn't critiquing the tech layer, the Airbnb layer, right? Like it is the controllable piece.
Let me finish. So criticizing the industry and the innovation that's happening in it, and then going into Airbnb's business model and their competition with the other OTAs and sort of what's happening there. So Airbnb is a marketplace. They're innovating on the marketplace. They're trying to drive demand to this. Like it is not Airbnb's business to be innovating on the business model of STRs. And I'd argue that they are not going to be the one innovating in the business model of STRs. There's companies out there. Brandy's new one, Statera, is innovating. I would say, and pretty extensively. There's all these companies that are actually pushing the innovation, and there's billions being created and invested to do that. And then like you go back and look at how hotels actually innovated and professionalized. Like professionalization was the innovation, the creation of these brands, the operations, the brand standards, the revenue management tools, the loyalty programs that unlocked massive innovation in the hotel industry and brought it where it is today. And I'd argue like that professionalization is still happening. It's still innovating. And the OTAs aren't going to be the ones that drive that. There's going to be whole new sets within the industry that innovates and creates that. And like by equating the all three, like that Airbnb's AI strategy and their new hire is like not going to fix the industry professionalizing and Airbnb's business model. Like, yeah, duh. Like, but like, I don't love that it was sort of tied up at the end of like, Airbnb's new hire isn't going to solve our problems. Like, I don't think anyone is expecting any hire within any of these companies, especially Airbnb, to solve the industry's sort of
AI solves everything, Jamie. AI solves everything.
And we got to almost 21 minutes before AI was mentioned.
AI solves everything. So, Jamie, you're right on the hotel brand, all of that. That's where the innovation came. But in hotels, that came long before the OTAs came along. So the brands existed as the brand where the OTAs drove the eyeballs. Airbnb has always tried to be a brand of stuff that they don't own and control. And I think that's where the big difference is. That's where Rafit's article, I think the part that jumped out to me the most is the version of Airbnb has been professionalized out of existence. The physical product became indistinguishable with the hotel, but it lacks accountability, consistency, and service recovery when things go wrong. You layer that into the consistency or lack thereof in the short-term rental space. You can go stay at a beautiful property that shoots well, everything goes right, and then you can have the experience that we had in Mexico, where there's a camera inside and there's one key for 4 people, and like it goes.
Were very unsafe, and all the things.
Stairs, the stairs and
it's
heels.
Wild,
yeah,
right? The difference can be extremely large, and so I think for me it comes down to Airbnb has built a great brand, but that brand doesn't own, control consistency standards. And that's inverted in the hotels because the hotel brands were established long before the OTAs were established.
And I will make a comment as a disclaimer for Rafit's article, just to kind of defend. I do need to defend my boss a little bit here. As the last sentence, basically in the last paragraph, saying, what I know is this: hiring a brilliant AI technologist to solve the company's problem or company's innovation problem is a bet on the wrong variable. So he is talking specifically towards Airbnb, not the industry. So not, yes, cherry picking the Kasa and Sonder as like the failed operators. Sure, a small bucket or a drop in the bucket in terms of the rest of the industry. And Jamie, you've even stated this multiple times on the show. Majority of the short-term rental sector is individual hosts. It's not professionals. It's not the big brands. It's not this. So that's why we have such a small selection to go from. So I will defend in terms, just for a disclaimer for the listeners, read the full article before you take all of our fiery comments into consideration. Just
I loved the whole article. I sent Rafit a note saying, hey, this is stuff people in the industry have been talking about for a long time. So it's kind of like airing a bit of the dirty laundry.
For sure.
Yeah. I also think that there's the critique is not like unwarranted, but I think that this, obviously, and this is a media publication, so you have to have stories that come out, obviously. But it's kind of like where there is this obsession with what big shiny thing are we going to do next? And Wil even talks about like being a bit bored with like the industry as a whole, like what is the next thing? And it's like, I think that it kind of layers into like where we are in like 2026 and people's like attention spans. It's like the product is a good vacation. And I don't know how like crazy it's like, what are you going to do to a home to make it super crazy? It's going to be, you know what I mean? And the business model is tough. It's real estate, So I think to Jamie's point, a lot of the innovation is going to come from the tech companies like a Gusty or a Breezeway or whatever. And I don't really think we should expect to see like a real estate company do anything crazy. But
yeah, and Brandy, we even made the comment before the show though too, like real estate and hospitality don't really match well together. Real estate folks are wanting just numbers and data. The hospitality folks are caring about emotions and impact. So like those two have a hard time coexisting because sometimes the numbers don't match the execution of the hospitality you want to pull off. So but before I get to that, it was, dang, I lost my comment. Dang it, Michael, you distracted me. I forgot what was my other point.
Sorry.
But anyways, go ahead.
So I would say traditionally, you're absolutely right, except for Jason at Placemaker. Came out of traditional real estate, had an innovative idea.
No, that's not what I was saying, though. In terms of like traditional real estate investors, like the people that buy a hotel and are only in it for the numbers and for the real estate value to go up, or the EBITDA, or not the EBITDA, the cap rates and all the whatever crap that we hear people talk about. It doesn't match up with the execution of hospitality. I know from my management days that when I wanted to fix a guest problem, but we can't go lower on that rate because of this and that. And it's like, no, we have to take care of the people first. And the real estate people don't see it that way. So that's just my 2 cents. But yeah.
My last point I'll make is Marriott launched their first hotel in 1957, prior to the brand starting. And we saw a hotel industry that very much looked like short-term rentals today. And it took quite a bit of time for that model to evolve. And I think we're going to see it evolve. I think as we've stated many times, like this is very early innings of the short-term rental industry evolving and professionalizing. And there's going to be many iterations of the business model and what actually sticks and what becomes the thing that grows and is the industry 10, 15, 20 years from now.
For sure. Yeah. And I remember my last comment. It was around what Brandy said in terms of like, it's a vacation. Like it's not supposed to be super sexy. Like just deliver a good vacation. I do think in the article that Rafa wrote, there is a good mention of like Airbnb has promised the mix of this and experiences as well. And I don't think we're there. And for my prediction for the year is that I think we're going to move that direction. That's the way that the industry needs to go. I think there needs to be innovation from the execution of service and hospitality rather than just the platform. That was my last.
If you have any ideas,
yeah, no, I've already listed out a lot in the past, but we'll talk offline.
You guys ready for the stat of the week?
Yes,
to be
sir.
conscious of time, let's go stat of the week. And then
I'll do it quick. 2.3%. That is
the percentage of hotels on Airbnb.
That is the share of Airbnb's reviews over the past year that came from hotels. So an equivalent to is sort of overall booking activity. So very low overall share, has been growing pretty substantially, especially in their sort of beta markets. So Madrid, LA, New York, we're seeing pretty substantial growth in that. And 17% now review share in New York for hotels. So we're in beta, but we're definitely seeing some inklings of growth for hotels, but it's still really early and it's still a very small percent of their overall inventory.
It's a good stat. Well, to segue us into the last story, Airbnb making some hotel moves, and there was some disagreement in the GMH chat early this morning, but Airbnb builds hotel team to take on the OTAs. So Michael, I know you know Lou or friends with Lou, or you have some kind of connection with Lou. So go ahead and lead us in.
Yeah. The fact that Airbnb is now simultaneously, I saw a commercial during the football games, NFL games yesterday. It was basically Airbnb bashing hotels with news of hiring more and more of a hotel team. I mean, I don't know how long this can go on where you're going to bash your future customer, but Jamie thinks that it's fine and they should continue to bash them. We'll get into that in a second. But if you want to become a serious, legitimate OTA with hotel inventory, you've got to have the major flags over time. It might not happen day one. It might not happen in year one or year two, but you're not going to get a meaningful share of the market without the major flags. And it's kind of correlates to short-term rentals in the way that all of Airbnb's discussions externally are about the individual hosts, but there's a lot of professional hosts out there, and Jamie can tell us those stats. But they drive a meaningful share of the revenue for them. Not all of it, not even half of it.
I
Right, Jamie?
love the evolution of
Right.
vocabulary over time.
Well, it's just a matter of time, right? So I think that it's only like we're not far away from Airbnb having to look at their messaging outwardly, and they also are going to have to go after the flags. I don't know if that's going to be fast or slow, but my guess is it's going to have to be faster than maybe they're publicly stating.
I think they'll get pressure.
Jamie?
So publicly, they've talked about in their beta so far, and that they're going to be focusing on boutique independent hotels. So, and I see Airbnb going after Booking.com, not the hotel industry. And Booking.com is the OTA of choice. It is the distribution platform for independent hotels, especially in Europe. 70% of hotels in Europe are independent, and they have massive runway to grow that hotel business without needing to onboard the chains. 30% of hotel demand our hotel listings in the US are independent. And I would say the vast majority are pushing leisure travel, where you look at the brands and they're dominated by business travel. And like, just face it, like Airbnb's not, and when they launch over the next 5 to 10 years, they're not going after the business traveler. OTAs are leisure dominated brands. And that's what they need to be attractive to. So yes, are they eventually going to need to get the brands if they're going to be a major OTA in the hotel space? Absolutely. But for them to continue to be differentiated and that their core product is going to continue to be short-term rentals, and for them to grow short-term rentals, they've got to keep eating at share from hotels. And they do that by differentiating why short-term rentals beat hotels in so many different types of stays. And I think they should keep hammering that message.
Well, it's just like they're going after the individual host equivalent of hotels, right? Like that was their messaging before. I think that's like an easier segue of like, oh, it's a hotel, but it's like the mom and pop boutique hotel in like Nice or whatever.
Yeah, it's too easy to just bash on branded hotels as they're cookie cutter. They're the same. And Hilton Garden Inn's the same as a Fairfield Inn, the same as a Homewood Inn.
Courtyard.
Like, you can't walk into a hotel and tell the difference.
Yeah, true. Well, lots of fiery points and topics today. So definitely got the early morning energy flowing, I would say. But that is our time for today. We try to keep the show at 30 minutes for all of our new potential listeners and viewers. But we want to give, of course, the shout outs to all of you tuning in live. So thank you again, Paul, Enrique, Brandy, Eric, Terry, and of course, many other comments from Paul. We had a great guest appearance from Michael's son, Oliver. What's up, Ollie? And yeah, lots of topics to discuss, but I think we're gonna have to save it for next week. So thank you for everyone tuning in, and we'll see you all next Monday.